from the end of the candidates who are the job seekers to the employers who have, vacancies to fill in the organization, you can agree that it's a whole lot getting the right candidates.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then getting the right jobs is part of those things too.
Yes.
Two-sided.
So it's a work. So guys, you're welcome on set this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to see you again.
To my wonderful viewers, you're welcome to another episode of the BG series. With me, I have some wonderful guests. Mr. Jide is a recruitment specialist. I have Victoria, who is a brand strategist. I have Mr. Dami, who is a finance analyst, and Nemile Chadu, the lovely Nemile Chadu. She is a digital marketer. You're welcome this afternoon. So, before I go any further, I want to ask this very peculiar question. Jide, do you want to start? So you're looking for
Ladies first.
Not today. We give you the floor. Take the lead.
So, Jide, what would you say is your worst interview experience?
Oh, that's a hard one because I've actually been on different perspective. I've been on the perspective of an employee looking for a job, and I've actually been on perspective of someone recruiting for a job. I would go with my perspective as a recruiter. There was this time.
Okay.
This is for the help. I'm allowed to say this. There was this time an employee or a potential employee candidate bumped into our interview room, and actually he farted. It was loud, although there was enough accusing eye glares and all that, and he denied it. At least if you have to deny anything, make it something that wasn't too obvious, and that alone was just a no. As much as
and his body gave him away.
That's village people right there.
he was fit for the job actually, but we're talking about ethics here.
Fit for the
Yeah.
job.
You could have at least been
Imagine
honest. It's weird, but it is.
I can imagine. So, Nemile,
Okay.
what would you say is the worst in the experience of going and knocking on that door? They are ushering you in. You get to sit down, and they ask you, may I get to know you? You know the whole recruitment process and how it works, the hiring process.
Okay, so
So, in terms of your experience, which is the worst? Let me hear.
okay, my worst experience has to be when I went for an interview, and first of all, it was a chaos.
Okay.
A lot was going on when I finally got my way into the interview, the hall and everything. Getting in there, it just seemed like it wasn't professional. So honestly, I already knew that. Okay, okay, I might really consider, and then they didn't even put the remuneration, so I really did not know what to expect. I just went there like, okay, leaving an open mind. So on getting there, I was already seeing that the organization was looking really, they were not organized.
You could sense the culture.
Exactly, yes. I was already feeling the culture, like, is this somewhere that,
You really want
yeah,
to
so
be-
I feel like as an employee or a candidate as a then,
Okay.
I would already see from my point that it wasn't showing structure. So so that was one of my worst experiences,
Oh,
I
the
must
worst
say.
experience.
Yes.
It's not like they told you to do frog jump.
No. It didn't get to that.
It didn't get to that.
It didn't get-
Yeah,
it didn't get to
experience-
that.
Worst experience is relative.
Yeah.
Dami.
Mhm.
So, in your own perspective, I mean, you've
So-
been in that space.
Yeah, as a job seeker.
Mhm.
And I have about two, but the one that stands out for me is, so there was this guy, I call him guy because I don't even think it's a company yet. So the he has this idea of getting people to come and do remote jobs for clients overseas,
Okay.
right? So then he put the advert on on Indeed, and it was quite a lot of roles for just that company. I'm not going to mention the name first. It's somewhere around First Stack
They
though.
will drag you, Jamie.
You're already giving us clue somewhere around.
Somewhere.
First
Yeah,
Bank.
so
We will
around
start
First Bank.
thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Because and then there were so many things that we had to do. He would request for valid ID,
Okay.
made it proper, but at the end of the day, we had to do the interview in his parlor.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was just
Red
like a
flag.
residential home,
Okay.
and then we did the tests, provided PCs for us to do tests.
Oh.
Then you come for the next stage, but it was all in his parlor.
But some
And
people will
I've-
say that
Yeah.
because of the type of role or the modality of that person's work structure, maybe a sitting room to ease the tension.
Maybe it's even
Yeah.
a laptop.
Yes, have a
But-
one-on-one
but-
conversation, you know.
So
But
you
how
could
do
keep
you
up
say-
appearances at the start, but after a while, you'd start to, like, when you maybe get further or when I got further in the interview, I was able to see that, okay, there is no company here actually. This guy just wants to hustle and use us to hustle.
Wow.
But I want to ask something. Are we saying a company is based on the location of the interview? Because
So my point is, a company should at least have an actual office space that looks like an office space.
Okay,
Right, okay.
okay, for
Let's
that,
hear from you.
I would say that there are lots of tech startups today that, okay, say for example, the person is a web designer. Like, you don't need anybody in any
No, you don't let me
office
finish
space.
now.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
Don't worry. I like
So-
the, I like the ginger.
So then I went back for the final stage, and then, you know, so when you see, or so let's say the countenance or how he manages it, you'd be able to tell that, okay, there's really nothing
you know,
wrong here.
formalities and all.
Because when we get there, okay, the interview time is 8 o'clock, right? Bro never wake up, or maybe he's just waking up, he's trying to brush his teeth.
Oh, wow.
You get, and then he opens his
Okay,
window.
that's a
We are
professional.
outside under a canopy, and he says, "Oh, you'll be done. You'll be ready in few minutes." You are the CEO. You are the HR specialist. You are,
Yeah, that's
You
a
get.
one man.
So, and
one man business.
I mean, at the end of the day, he offered me the job, but I didn't take it, because when he was speaking to me, talking about how they're going to grow, and like in his defense, maybe it's a startup or something, but he couldn't sell that vision to me, and I was not ready to get on.
So
that was-
basically, your turn off was actually his behavioral pattern as a recruiter, not the sitting room space.
It's structure more or less.
the structure
It's
generally,
yeah.
the structure
I was not
generally, yeah.
convinced with the
Exactly.
structure. I mean, if this place cannot provide me with a
I mean,
a
For I don't know what other people look for when they are
Okay.
looking for jobs, but you want to see yourself grow in a particular career.
Yeah, true.
You want to have something to look forward to, that, okay, oh, this is a company, I have a boss that I can really learn from.
Definitely.
I have
It's space to
colleagues
grow.
that I can share ideas with. But when you don't see that,
at the time the possibility of that was they were
Maybe
not
if
possible.
you
it's not like at the time, it was not
They
there,
were not there
Baba.
at all. Oh.
It was
Maybe
not
if they
there.
had made it clear, that's the issue with being explicit when you're sending out
Exactly.
your vacancy. Let's know that it's a one-man business, and let's know what we're looking forward to. Actually.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if you are taking the job, maybe you would have found out that it's actually something legit. But because
So my point is, I mean, the company I currently work for, it's private equity, but it's more like,
there's a structure.
yeah, it's more like one man business too. But I know that, okay, there's a path for me
In the
here.
next 5 years.
Or I mean, I can really learn
yeah,
from
yeah.
this person, since I'm a financial analyst, and he's had great years in investment banking and private equity. I know that I can learn from him, right? But here, that wasn't the case. And then he did it such that there were lots of roles in that same company. There was procurement specialist, there was accountant, there was
In the same sitting room.
God bless you, in the same sitting room. Do you guys? So
I mean, hold it on. This one, the way you are saying
yeah, it was like he was trying to use us to hustle. Do you get? Because I think it was at the time of when remote jobs were really starting to crop up,
Okay.
and he knew he had access to be able to get these remote jobs. So he wanted to get the remote jobs and use us to do it.
Okay.
So you would have things to work on, and then he will pay you an amount of money and all of these things.
Okay, that's one way to look at it, and
Yeah.
the way you have explained it, I know where it's coming from.
Passion.
Yeah, because I was optimistic about it. It was the time I was trying to move back to Lagos.
I've heard you, and you were starting up at that time.
Yeah.
So you needed something.
Yeah.
So back to what she said, because I want to ask you from that angle of things that, so you're seeing job ads and it's giving you a full description, and I would still tailor that question to you because you are the recruitment specialist. Exactly. So is it advisable, or would you as a candidate want to have every detail of the organization that you want to work with?
Oh, is it me now or?
No, you as a candidate, he has his own to
Okay,
answer.
me as a candidate. Meanwhile, I haven't shared my experience.
Oh yeah, share your experience and then answer the question.
All right, so I'll share my experience from two perspectives.
Okay.
As an employee, a candidate seeking for a job. So in my early stage in life, when I was actually seeking for a job here in Lagos, there's this job opportunity that came and it looked quite promising. So, and when I got the offer, the request to come for an interview, I was very rich, if you know what that means. I didn't have a dime on me. And I was like, this is a big opportunity for me. I want to be there. So I hustled. People hustled for me. you get when we hustle.
You hustle.
All right, so I hustled
buttons.
all the way from Ojo Elegba. That's why I used to say that when I blow, whiskey will be my friend. Ojo Elegba, they know my story. Actually, so I moved from Ojo Elegba, then it was somewhere around Lekki, and that would be my first time on the island.
Oh.
So on my way coming, I noticed that I didn't print my CV. Look at the stress, so I got there. And they said they were yet to start. A lot of persons were outside, actually. So I was like, where will I look for my CV? I trekked a distance. I tried to
finally print.
I tried to romance the staffs there if they are going to help me print coded leave. But there was no coded offer. So I had to step out, look for a way to print. It took me like an hour plus. I trekked back, only for me to meet them. They had gathered people and were excited that after a lot, the interview were going to start. And
So
the next
it's
thing they said,
JNLD.
you don't have first class. Sorry for coming. Thank you. You can leave us. It was not funny that they needed people with first class degree, like first class.
And
So
that was not.
that was just it. And
on
we
the
had over
description.
30 persons, and we had just 6 persons left there.
And it was not on the requirement.
It was not on the requirement. So imagine
So what
my
kind of
stress was
family?
little. Let's imagine someone that went through something more.
That
So-
came from Sokoto for that interview.
So that was quite painful. People left painfully complaining. That's why ever since then, I'm always big on be specific,
Details.
be
Yeah.
detailed. If you want a certain experienced set of persons in your for your job prescription, say it.
A certain complexion,
Yeah,
a certain shape, a certain
A certain anything, a certain brain. So that was a very horrible experience for me, actually.
Okay.
Then as a recruiter, like as an employer,
Before you share as an employer, let me hear from Jide. As an employer now, you're having candidates. I mean, the candidates will tell you their own experience.
Okay.
And you told me about somebody that walked into the room and
Many
yes.
people.
So, what would you say are the things that candidates should put together, very briefly, before coming for an interview?
Basically, you
And then, sorry, what are the things, the biggest challenges as either a hiring manager or an employer looking to fill roles that needs number of candidates, say 200, 300. So what are those challenges?
And I think you need to be very considerate about the fact that the channel in which you're putting the job ad through, is it the one that has or generates more traffic? You're looking for candidates of about 200 people, 200 applicants, and you're just posting the job on your WhatsApp status alone. It's putting the round peg in the wrong hole. So the idea is you need to understand, okay, where can I fetch this so number of people for this particular job? Now, and apart from that, you also need to make sure, because these days applicants don't want to be stressed. I'm saying this from also an employee perspective. When I see that you're stressing me, asking for what not and what this and all that, okay, come again, like you said, peace test in the sitting room, blah blah blah, come again another day. It's a red flag for me, and my knowledge from the perspective of an employee helps me to tailor my recruitment channels. So I like to make it brief, and at the same time it has to be specific what I need. There's some certain things in today's world that we don't necessarily need to put there. If it's first class candidates you want, let them know it's first class. You don't want the reputation of our
Instead
case.
of her coming from Akwa Ibom to Ikorodu and you're telling her, I'm sorry, we'll fight.
We'll fight.
We'll break heads on that day.
And lastly, recruiters need to understand that whatever the function is, you're also a marketer for your organization.
Exactly.
She's going to have a bad image of
About
whatever
the
that
brand.
company is.
Yeah.
He already had he has a vendetta against that company first time. I'm sure he's planning something. So he has shared a bad experience.
I do check.
You still do
time to
check
time.
them.
Yeah, just think, oh, how's this company doing? Did he actually pick up?
Yeah.
That it really pained you.
No, I'm just curious. Not like I was pained. Well, I mean, nothing has changed anyway. So
Wow.
Nothing has changed.
yeah, the website is still the same. The LinkedIn page is.
Thank you. All right, so Victoria, before I ask this particular question, yes, I wanted you to just round off what he was saying, that you have to tailor your recruitment to the type of candidates you want and be specific. And he's coming from the angle of he, at one point in time, being a candidate, a job seeker. So what would you say as a recruiter, somebody that has hired or have been in a position to hire, are your challenges?
All right. So in most cases, actually, you have your job prescription well spelled out, but there's this mindset, this mentality in Nigeria that I could try my hands on anything. Do you get? So persons that are not qualified for the job. Okay, for instance, in my former establishment, we're looking for a project manager.
Okay.
It's actually a construction site. And I had somebody call me up. It's someone that is just an estate valuer. Let us call them a facility person. Our job is to look after your facility, keep check, service charge and all of that. She called me up that she can do the job. I'm like, calm down. I am talking about a construction company. So you're going to be supervising civil engineers, quantity surveyors. You're going to be supervising the quality of content, the quality of products used in construction. You have to check if it's properly aligned, the alignment, the finishing. This is not for you. Say, come to you. So most times, even when you are so explicit, people still feel like it's something they can always try their hands on. So like that's why I will go with him when he says the platform. There is a platform. There are platforms for certain persons. Even when you do social media promotions, you don't throw it open to. You are a digital marketer. You don't throw it open to every person. You select your expected channels, your targeted audience. So I think that's what we, the recruiters, should do more often, because there's a lot of unemployment situation in Nigeria. So we have faith in Lord. We believe with God we can do it.
Okay, so I wanted to add something.
Okay.
So he said that for when you're putting out your job adverts, it should be very explicit. But then I want to ask, for a situation where you have a concierge, I know you know the role of a concierge, right? The person that takes people around in luxurious homes and whatnot. So and this specific you need someone that is quote unquote light skinned. Putting that on the job description, how does this say for your brand? Because if you have to say that it is good that you put everything explicit and everything. If he's light skinned, you want but then it doesn't sit well with your brand. I don't know if
I've seen a lot of job offers like that.
Because I know how social media can be. You tell me that you're putting out a job and you're saying that you want a light skinned. Me that I'm a dark skinned.
How do you feel?
I would drag. But to be honest, I will come for that organization.
What if we put light skinned for complexion balance?
That's exactly a criteria for it. No. It can even be,
because you see a lot of job ads with like preferably females for gender balance.
Different, yeah.
So when I say light skin for complexion balance, if you're good with preferably male.
Okay, so for example, you need to hire a concierge, for example, and then the concierge and all the persons you're seeing are dark skinned, but but your clients want a light skin, and you know that these people are good. Does it mean that? I don't know.
Well,
to be honest,
always right, actually. So you keep searching.
Let GD answer this question.
Why do you keep answering this question? No. She made a point. You're not the one paying who wants to do the job. Although I understand that, okay, we need to be very, very careful. We need to thread carefully when it comes to things that could make us feel like we are discriminating on the basis of, okay, complexion. However, this is what the client wants. Now, you as a recruiter needs to be very, very, okay, should I say, diplomatic with your wordings.
Wise.
So you don't just, yes, fair and light, blah, 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 and all that. Then there's also that little loophole. Of course, there are certain things I want from a candidate that I will not post on the job. It will be me and you on the interview room.
Even a side of tribalism, but let's not even go there.
If I want a guy for a job to avoid discriminatory issues, I'm not going to put it out there that, okay, yes, I prefer a guy. But deep down, when I'm recruiting, I'm going to choose the guy.
No, but there are jobs that will tell you that this role is for male only. I
think because Nigeria in quotes has not gotten to you can't do certain things in the US as a recruiter. You can't put for blah 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 and all that unless you have a very, very constitutional valid reason. True. Because you need to be careful in terms of being sued for discriminatory issues and all that. So, but Nigeria has not gotten to that.
We have actually gotten there, and like you said, there are and what the point she was trying to make, there are, from my understanding, there are some rules that are specific.
Yes,
and for
specific.
those rules, to maximize productivity, you need to
give me an example of a role that is gender specific.
Thank
So
you.
That
I'm in a
requires just men.
wait. So I'm in a construction organization. I run a construction company. And I need site workers,
Who told you women can't do side jobs?
and I'll hire for heavy duty.
Who told you women can't lift things?
Heavy
Hold on.
To do it more
no,
effectively.
no,
Hold on.
Guided.
Hold
Don't do
on.
it as
We know
aggressively as
biologically speaking,
Yeah.
the
Women
women are
actually
in
take-
terms
no,
of
they're
weaker.
not
However,
They're what?
the universal standard,
women are weaker in terms of physical prowess,
yeah.
right?
biologically.
Yeah.
Biologically
Yeah.
speaking.
Should that not come in
However,
play in my
in
specifics?
the end, every recruitment activity has certain tests. What if, okay, yes, so I want to employ for heavy lifters, and there are 4 guys and 1 lady, and they are asked to, okay, yes, lift an item, and the woman lifted it more than the other guys.
True.
So the employment activity
Based
should
on his point, there's another form of discrimination
Okay.
that goes on with these top companies, actually, like the big fours, those oil companies and stuff.
I did not see
Age.
anything, no. I did not
They
see
will tell you
anything.
you have to be 26. What if the student or the graduate didn't get enough funds to go to
Yes,
school on
I-
time, and then there's still a bright guy?
I think you're even
very
stressing it
brilliant.
when you're even saying big fours. We know, don't let me say, am I allowed to say financial institutions?
Yeah.
We know financial institutions that
They'll
say,
tell
okay,
you
so must be 26 on or
26.
before December this year.
She
And we
gets-
know the education system with ASU strikes,
Exactly.
prolonging ages of our students.
Okay, let's
It
not-
goes
let's not
on and
go
on.
into-
But
It's
don't let
so
us,
annoying.
because we're going to
Because,
stay here.
Yeah,
I mean,
let's
technology has
not
made
go
it very
into that.
easy now for you to like accommodate a lot of people to come and write your test online, and then you can filter out the best people to come for the physical test or whatever second stage that you have. So there's no point discriminating that, okay, because you're older than 26, you cannot
Yeah.
do this.
Cannot do
test.
this job.
And it happens a lot. I mean, I've been a victim, and so
Thank you.
Right,
Before you continue, Dami, like you have rightly said, yes, there are lots of platforms now that help you make decisions. They make the whole recruitment process very easy end to end. You agree with me?
yeah.
So, just to buttress on what he said, yes, I think it is wisdom, and wisdom has to come in play because you present a brand and you don't want to take a side in what you do. So, it is when you are on the spot at that point of hiring that you should make your decision. You don't have to make it known. I'm hiring for heavy duty. You come as I see 3 ladies there, and they are thinking it's a fashion parade. Oh, thank you for coming. It's been a wonderful interview. It's
Wisdom.
It's wisdom. So I think recruiters and hiring managers needs to be a bit smarter. If they were not doing it before, but I know a lot of people do it already. So I want to ask this question now. Now there is this thing that happens in our society where, I mean, some people that I've interviewed, I've had the privilege to have conversation, will tell you that employers will seek rugrats or people below standard, and then expect a level of efficiency from those people. And that is the point from where you are coming to say that you cannot say you are doing us a favor.
Yeah.
When you are putting out rules to fish in a lot of people that will not perform, you are putting them under pressure and then saying, I'm doing you a favor. I can get as many
And
people
then
as possible to do it.
for, so in my own experience, they would ask for, you have to have BSc, you have to have ICANN, which is it's quite a prestigious qualification in Nigeria. Then you have to have about 5 years minimum of 5 years experience. And then they offer you maximum 200,000. Are you whining me?
Let's
After all of those things that you just mentioned, that's what you want to offer.
Because you're doing
And then
them
they
a
do
favor.
something, exactly. And then they do something at the end of the day. They now ask, how much is your current salary? So that they can use that as leverage to beat whatever you're trying to ask down.
So Jide, on that discussion, I mean, from the employer side of things, what would you say?
I
I mean,
think
what are
it's-
the amendments that should I take you back?
Yeah, please.
So
please.
employers put out ads or they recruit people that are below standard and expect a level of efficiency that's unrealistic.
Okay.
Is that a current practice? And if it is, what are the amendments that can be done to that?
Okay, first from scratch, I need to correct the notion that you said employers recruit people that are below standards. There are different kinds of recruitment. There are different kinds of organizational requirements. There are different kinds of needs. For example, I don't need an expert. Why do I need an expert when they're still going to go through a series of or levels of training on the job while they're doing the job? So it's still dependent on what the organization wants. But what I'm trying to say is, from both perspectives, as a result or the context of the country we are in, as a recruiter, or as an employee, or someone who's searching for a job, you need to do the most in terms of keeping up with the game. I am helping you. whether as you
I
as
think,
no
that's
matter
where they have a problem with.
no matter how much you want to say it,
you need the workforce.
it's
for
mentioned
you
something.
for your company to function, for your organization to function.
Yes.
You need the workforce.
yes.
You won't do everything by yourself.
Definitely.
It's
No,
not-
I
it's
agree
not
with
possible.
that.
We are not
My
arguing
point
that
is,
fact.
my point is, I will see people. It's now dependent on my ability as a recruiter to get the needs, the people I want for the needs of the
So
organization.
if I must add something to what he said, whatever remuneration or salary you collect, that's the value that you can give. So we pay for value and not for personality.
Okay,
Okay.
I
All right. So in an interview panel, as you are talking to us, we are assessing your can and cannot. That is what we look at. So at the end of the interview, we're able to tell that, okay, this one needs a lot of work. There are a lot of experience. I have been in an
But
interview
why
panel.
also-
Lastly,
so my question,
briefly,
my question,
Sorry.
quickly,
I
before
have-
we
I
talk-
let me now correct one
Quickly,
notion. Let me briefly.
quickly,
Sorry.
quickly, let me just
People
ask you a
think
question.
the interview stops at okay, yes, you have the job. No, the interview goes on.
There's
There's that
probation
point. No,
period.
I'm not even talking
No.
about probation. When we realize that
When
you are not bringing
gone,
value,
you sit back again.
leave.
So
And
let me ask you a
so
question.
when we
Before
bring-
you
ask
you're
your
paying for the
question,
value.
Hold your
Wait.
question. Hold your question.
Okay.
Lizzie, you wanted to say something.
okay. What I wanted to say is that there's some organizations where they already have standards for BSc holders, HND holders, SSC holders. So they don't look out for people that they want to build. Or maybe on the job, training, learning on the job is okay. It's fine. In fact, it's part of their structure. So you cannot
Okay.
tell me that, okay, so because people talk. Okay, you now come and tell me that maybe we're like two, I'm sorry, I'm trying to make a point. Maybe there are like two social media specialists, for example, in XYZ organization. And then maybe my negotiation, I talked myself down or I negotiated down. I will now go back to the same office. You now employ me because you feel like, okay, she has potentials, but we can train her. The other one is good. We don't need to train her. In fact, maybe we might, because we actually learn, we get better every day. So we now both go to the same office and we start talking. And now hear that maybe eventually turn out I have more potentials than the person that is supposedly earning more. What do you think
What is your definition of more potentials? Because in this present state of Nigeria, the world as a whole, we no longer pay for certificate.
That's
We
not
pay
true.
for- no.
That's like I completely
I have
disagree
some-
because I am a living
in places like the US.
living.
So-
They
so-
have
so-
a
so I-
standard for.
I
They
have
have
been in
a
an
standard for
interview
every
panel where
single certificate. For example, if you are a particular organization, if you are a BSc holder, you have a standard.
that is when you talk about organizational structure.
Confirm.
Do you
I think
understand?
we're
If
I
you
think
have
I would
an
agree
organizational
with you.
structure that
So-
addresses payment by certification.
Yeah.
Now
Yes.
he's agreeing with
And
Yeah,
it
I
is
think I would
agreeing
agree
he's
with you in
agreeing
terms
with
that
that.
they don't
Certification
really
and
ask for certificates just
Okay.
based on what you can do, because truthfully, all of the jobs I've gotten, and I've switched job like 4 to 5 times since I got back to Lagos.
I thought you said it stops as being an expert.
I'm saying they've
again.
not asked for my certificate, but my question is, why do employers always like to pay below market value?
It's not below market value.
It is the
You have
natural
no
phenomenon of a
pay below
capitalist.
market
You
value.
minimize costs and maximize profit.
Alright.
It is.
Okay.
You think you're doing the company a
Okay,
favor,
that is-
but you're not, because the person is going to leave eventually if he's not satisfied.
It's not.
Exactly.
Thank
When
you.
I know that my colleague in KPMG,
Alright,
my colleague
lastly,
in another
David.
company is earning up to a
Thank
certain
you,
amount,
thank you,
I'm not going to be
David.
satisfied
Thank
working
you,
for
thank
you.
Have you
you.
find out the KPI of that your colleague in another
Yes,
company? And
I'm probably better than the person said. Yes,
you
I
might
have.
feel you're
Okay.
working better than that person,
Okay.
but there's a structure.
People
One
will not
house.
pay below market value. I bet.
Now,
Confirm.
he
I agree with
asks,
you.
he asks a valid question, and I want you to, in closing this show, I want you to answer that particular question.
Please rephrase the question.
You want to rephrase it? Go ahead.
The question I just asked.
Yes.
Why do recruiters or employers like paying below market value?
Okay.
We just
Yes.
addressed
Are you gonna
that
go?
concern.
Okay, no, I want you to address
Like-
it
Okay.
properly.
Yeah,
you, were,
please.
you were throwing it. Now carry it and
Yes.
give him.
He's asking
Okay.
why do recruiters,
Or
aka maybe
employers.
employers,
Yes.
aka organizations,
Yes.
aka
Yes.
capitalists,
Yes.
from our secondary school knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
what do capitalists do?
The cut cost.
They minimize cost
Yes,
and
they minimize cost.
And
what-
lose
hold
value.
on, hold on. I'm answering
No,
your question.
no.
Hold on. Minimize cost and
Lose
maximize
value.
profit.
And
And losing value is relative.
It's relative.
It's
Thank
possible
you.
for me to have someone who is better than you are, and
Exactly.
he sucks at negotiating. I'm cashing in on that.
That's the problem.
So it's a transaction. It's
That's
business.
the problem. We need to have the problem. That's the
is
So I'm giving you
that employee
business.
would
So thank
stay
you.
That's the
would stay for
problem.
long in your company.
Thank you. You're
It's
helping
only
the
a matter
employee-
of time.
Exactly. You're helping the person
Alright.
to grow.
It's only a matter of
Okay.
time.
question of
What
staying for long.
do you bring
See,
to the
I've
table
noticed
as
something
dependent
about
on
Nigerian
you.
employers.
Okay, thank you.
Especially
Thank
organizations
you.
that
Thank
have
you.
Thank you.
the level of
That
employee
means-
loyalty in Nigeria is very
Thank
low.
you
Okay.
very much.
No.
Thank you very much, Victoria.
Alright,
Thank you
I'm
very much,
trying.
Jude.
Don't
been,
tempt me.
it's been a wonderful banter. That's what I would call this one, a banter between
Alright.
employees and employers at large. But what we can deduce and conclude with is that both they need to work on themselves. They need to work in terms of stepping up with the society and the happenings around. So the job seekers need to look at the wave of technology, growth, the economy, and even the political climate.
And
Right?
they need to scale up too.
Yes, and scale up
So
to
they don't
it.
take shit from
But
employers.
the employers at the other end should not focus solely on profit, because there's the welfare part of things, and you cannot do everything in your workforce. So there needs to be a balance. And like she said, I'll end with the structure of the organization. It's something that needs a lot of work. When I need to say it needs a lot of work in terms of what benefits both parties. You're not working to make a loss at the end of the day.
Mutual
Am I right?
relationship.
A mutual relationship. What do we call it in secondary school? A symbiosis.
Symbiotic relationship.
A symbiotic relationship. where
Rub
we
my
are
back, I
both-
rub your back.
Rub my back. Scratch my back, I scratch your back. So thank you very much, guys. But before I end, technology and innovations are those things that we cannot run away from.
Yeah.
So end to end in the space of recruitment, there are platforms where you can go on and you get hired
Yeah, definitely. I mentioned one earlier. that-
as easy as possible. So there is one I've heard about, I had the opportunity of hearing about, which is 56 Bridge. So with 56 Bridge, it solves the problem from both the employer end of things and the candidate end of things. So the end-to-end process of recruitment is simplified with 56 Bridge.
Seamless.
Yeah, so I'm recommending it. Hello, I'm just recommending it.
Okay.
Employers now, you can go and hire like 500 candidates. Yeah, yes, you can. And you don't need to be in the same room interviewing
for
them. They
employees.
come around, say,
Oh,
them,
employees.
can I meet you today? Are they by 5 p.m.? Some of them are already tired.
Yeah,
They're not giving
from
you
the
your
name
best.
itself, you can see
Yes.
56
You're not
Bridge. It
accessing
links
them
both
at
job
maximum
seekers
capacity.
And
employers
yeah.
together.
Exactly.
I use
So-
that platform.
So you use the platform.
Yeah,
And say,
very well.
it's a wonderful platform.
Definitely.
And then from the end of job seekers, the whole, like we mentioned earlier, traveling from Sokoto to Ojuelegba for interview. So
There's
in
no
your
for remote
in
interviews.
exactly
Yeah.
remote interview, you can be in your own room, and as soon as you create your profile, you see jobs on the platform. You apply.
Easy.
Just like that, you've gotten a job.
And you could just wear a shirt.
You can just wear it, you know how it is, and then you wear boxers, and we don't know what is going on. Down there,
There's
you know.
poverty everywhere.
Tech.
All right, guys, it's been another wonderful episode on the BG series. Don't forget to take the banter to the comment section. We want to see your comments on this particular topic, and follow us on social media, and the handles are displayed on the screen, as we all know. See you next Thursday. Thank you.